History Month, and I am your host, Eric Williams.
All right, welcome to the DeKalb Unknown video series for Black History Month. To start off, could you tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
I'm Jorel, Flynn, known in the music industry as JFly, and I'm a drummer, producer, promote shows, and work with independent artists. I'm a humanitarian, CEO of a foundation called How Big Is Your Dream, and I'm big on connectivity and access and resources for those that want to pursue their dreams as it relates to their career endeavors.
Yeah. So how did you start off as a drummer? What made you want to get into music, musicality, music, and entertainment industry?
So honestly, I was born into it. Honestly, of course, you hear this story a lot. I grew up in church, and I'm from Waycross, Georgia, Southeast Georgia. And my mom is a missionary. My dad is a deacon, and I'm the youngest of 8. Wow. I had really no opportunity to rebel against the call and the gift.
Yeah.
It's like you're going to church and you're going to be active. So
this is what you're doing. This is how the family goes.
Exactly. So the thing that I was in becomes now my sustainable door to meeting great people like yourself and opportunities to tell about the process that got me here. So I started in church. That was my boot camp of music.
So what did being in church, playing the drums, seeing people come in and go to across the world, where did you, coming up in the church, playing drums, where did that take you?
Honestly, it was a hobby and it's something that I followed directions in my household. I never really saw it as a career path or opportunity to be sustained by the arts. And I never really had to practice. I guess I was in church so much that was practice, but I played when I went to church, and it was a talent and a gift. I could hear rhythms, I could hear beats, and I could really duplicate them when I got on the drums. I never had formal training prior to really getting in the industry, which made me really support music education, which is another passion of mine currently. But and nobody from my city really made it big, if you will, as it relates to music. So I was one of the first to really make it on the global stage, not just national, but global stage as it relates to arts and entertainment.
Do you feel like there's any struggle with coming from a small town? Like, even though it's 2022, people still are coming from small towns, small cities, and making it big, whatever that making it big looks like for them. Is there any fallback from that success when you're going back to your community, back to your family?
Absolutely. The biggest thing is you never really see or have a glimpse of anybody that come from your area do what you dream to do.
Right.
You mostly see it on television or see it online these days. So you really don't have a glimpse of anybody that looks like you that come from your area that has done it. Honestly, the neighborhood I grew up in, most of the people were either selling drugs or their road led them to jail. And I didn't want that, and my family didn't want that. So I really had to dream beyond my current environment and really trust the inner voice, trust in God, and that was what led me into the entertainment world. I never had any mentor to say this is how you do it, which makes the foundation of How Big Is Your Dream so passionate for me, because it's a road to connectivity and it's tools and skill sets that help you be more in control of the narrative of your life.
I feel like you saying there's no pathway already marked for you when you're stepping out on faith.
Yes.
And trying something new, trying something different. What does that look like for a person, even if we do try something new in our community where we're a part of a system that people may do something similar to what you're trying to do, but it's not really, what you're really trying to do in your head is not really been done. So what can you say to youth that are coming up out of high school, even middle school, elementary, and they want to do something that's similar to what they see on TV, on Instagram, TikTok, but what they really have in their head, their vision, is not what anybody else has ever done, and they have naysayers, and you can't do that. What do you say to them?
Well, and that's really been the story of my life. Again, the foundation is how big is your dream, and you have to take ownership, and the only agenda that you have is to be true to the call. A lot of the things that I've done, I've been the first to do. As it relates to being a drummer, that was the first to be the music director for Centennial Park's Fireworks, the first drummer to be the music director for Heisman Trophy Awards, the first drummer to come from my family to play anything but gospel music and take a festival back to my town, which is Waycross, Georgia. So I never really had anybody say, let me show you. I had to follow the boys, and then different ones that really saw the struggle helped me along the way, gave me some bits of information, and I listened a lot, and I learned fast. Paid attention to those that were successful, that I respected, and I just really looked at their skill sets and how they really devoted time and attention to details, and that goes beyond any race, color, creed. It was about their work ethic, and that's one thing you cannot escape, is really working hard at something that you want to be sustainable or be turned into fruition as it relates to a desire of yours.
Yeah, we're going to touch on your nonprofit soon, but I did want to get to, since you are in the music entertainment industry, how do you feel like, because we don't really hear much about it in the school system now, the music, whether that is singing, choir, playing an instrument. We have bands, of course they do that, they practice and go across the nation, but what is something very monumental in a child's span of high school and middle school that music really has a positive impact on them?
It becomes a voice for those that feel like they don't have a voice. Actually, that was my voice and a way for me to convey who Jorel was and is now. I had a lot of confidence issues being the youngest. I was very different from a lot of my brothers and my sister. So music became a door of acceptance.
Like an outlet.
Yes. This guy has a different sound. And it really, and I know it may sound cliches, but my gift made room for me.
Yeah.
And when I got in the room, in my personality, my training, and my upbringing, it sustained me while I was in those rooms. And because I've always wanted something beyond the walls, I learned, I paid attention, I grasped information, and then I grew beyond that capacity, which continuously to lead me into bigger endeavors.
Yeah. And talking about bigger endeavors, let's get into your nonprofit. Can you tell our audience what your nonprofit is, the goal of it, and its purpose?
So my nonprofit it's interesting that I'm sitting here doing this interview because I went to school at DeKalb Tech.
Oh, cool.
And this is my story. This is how my nonprofit became a foundation. I was always big, like I said, on connectivity and helping those that needed help and wanted connectivity. I was in school, had one semester left, I had my degree in electronic technology. Again, at DeKalb Tech. And I got called to go out on a tour. To that point, I had never been on the road. I had never gotten paid to play music. I just loved playing. And I would play. So money and profit was never predicated upon me doing what I said I loved. So I got this opportunity, got this call. Hey, we're about to do this tour. Would you be interested in going? And they asked me a laundry list of questions that I didn't know how to answer. One being, what do you charge? And I was like, charge? You supposed to get paid to do this? And so with that, it really revealed to me that music is a business. Now again, I have one semester left to graduate, and then this calling that's really starting to feed my desires and my passion and my destiny. So it was a crossroad, and it was a very hard decision. I went on that tour. And needless to say, that tour opened up the very reason that I'm sitting here now talking about how we should dream. We rehearsed in New York. The tour was an 8-week run. And while on that tour bus, the question came to me, how big is your dream? On the bottom of that tour bus. And that's the question that only you can answer. And the only way that question becomes answered is the action that goes behind the question. And when I returned, God knows I tried to finish my degree, but my desire was awakened. And I was like, that's why I was placed on this earth, to do this. So from there, I have another tour. From that tour, I got into television. And what I wanted to do is develop a foundation and a system that those that feel like they don't have the resources of connectivity will have a safe haven, if you will, to understand that music is talent and it's business, and you need to know that they coincide, and you need to know both of them very well so you can be more in control of what your future looks like, and then it becomes sustainable. So How Big Is Your Dream was birthed, and then I started doing a lot of career days and talking to a lot of schools, helping a lot of band instructors, because a lot of band instructors didn't have road credibility, if you will, but they had education. So a lot of the education that they would teach, they didn't have the road work as it relates to the celebrity side of it.
Yeah.
So I would come in and partner with the band and say, this is how this is applied in music, and now this is a career path. And now you can see that this is applied to the celebrity side, or what you deem celebrity, that keeps us working and how we are sustain.
I feel like that's adjacent to any creative career path, whether you're trying to make up, dance, film, tech. Like, people think it's just, oh, you have this dream and you go for it, but no, you have to, what's your budget?
Yes.
What are you going to charge?
Yes.
What skill set do you have to show them, like, you are the one that they need to choose as talent?
I've always allowed myself to be in environments that push growth. Comfort is very comforting, but you really don't grow when you're comfortable. And as it relates to the business side, I needed to understand more of the business regimen that we're governed by. So that's why I became a part of the Recording Academy. And I started on an education committee. I went from education committee to an advisor, from advisor to a board member, from a board member to vice president, from vice president to president.
Wow.
And again, it's about wanting to know and not being so intimidated that you shove it away.
Yeah.
You know, you have to, and it is intimidating when you walk in rooms and you don't know the lingo. But just like college, the more you apply yourself, the more you learn, the more you know, and the less intimidating it is till you graduate. Then you pursue the next endeavor. So again, to my young people that really are wanting to get into entertainment or to the arts, prepare for opportunity before it arrives, not when it gets there.
That's such a good pinpoint, because we think that our trajectory is so fast and so far, but you got to take into account so many things, like racism, colorism, sexism, all the isms. Yes. And then on top of that, your own mind and being like negative Nancy. Yes. And I can't do it. I can't do it. But I feel like that's such a great testament to your tenacity. Yes, sir. And so, could you tell us, was there any moment where you felt like, I can't do this?
Every time I get ready to do a big project or something that I hadn't done before, I'm my own, I'm in competition with myself. Mm-hmm. I always start with, I can't do this. Nobody has done this. I don't know who to call that has done this that looks like me, that has come from the drummer seat, that has come from Waycross. And then, once I finish going through my PD party, I have to say, in order to grow, you have to be willing to accept the next challenge. Yeah. So I'll speak about Centennial Park. The first time I got the call to be the music director, no one had done it, and no musician had done it. No person of color had been in that position. Wow. And they called me and they say, well, JFly, we see you play with so many artists. Would you consider just doing the last segment of our show before we go to fireworks, which is 30 minutes with WSB live? And I said,
that's a long set.
Exactly. So I said, okay. I told them, I said, and again, this is my response. So I'm not searching for words. I'm giving you the emotion that went behind it. Yeah. I said, okay, I'll do it. Not knowing what it required, not knowing what was going to be asked of me as it relates to anything outside of playing drums. And so with that, I had to become a student of everything that's going to make and represent what I stand for. I didn't want to let people down, I didn't want to let myself down, and I didn't want the first meeting of a person that looks like me to be a hindrance from acceptance for anybody to follow. Mm-hmm. So with that, I prepared, I studied, I looked at what they had, what they didn't have, what I could bring that was unique, that would make the experience memorable. With that 30 30 minutes turned into a 5-year endeavor with Centennial Park and WSB, from them focusing on the fireworks to focusing on the entertainment and the fireworks.
That's awesome.
And that stage became an opportunity for those around Atlanta to be able to show their talent.
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
Yes, sir.
So I'm so glad that you were able to come and do this video series for us. Is there any advice, like again, any advice to anybody, no matter their age, their race, their gender, sexual orientation, what's some positive advice that you could give them for our lovely Black History Month that they could take and use for their future?
Well, any career path you're going down or look to pursue, always do your history and research for those that did it, that didn't have the same amount of access or less. Always know whose shoulders you're standing on. I always studied those that had less mediums or less resources, but did more seemingly with less resources.
Yeah.
And I say, if I have all this at my hands, I should have no excuse not to. And it pushes me. A lot of times I don't have peers to pull from, but I have history. And that's why I say you need to study your history. And then try to learn people from their perspective and not your perspective. That helps you embrace culture, helps you embrace everybody, because everybody's story is a story to be celebrated. You know, and I've had the pleasure and opportunity to travel the world. And I've met cultures from television, and then when you visit their culture, it's totally different. When you're in a native land of people that you thought, I thought you was this way, but it's totally different.
Yeah.
You know, so learn people for the humanity that they represent and not from somebody else's experience. I will always say, you know, if you want more resources or feel like you want to connect, how big is your dream? You know, connect with me, connect with JFly Music. I'm always open to helping those that really want it. I don't have time to waste, but I have to have time to help, and I'm always willing to help.
So where can everyone follow you and your nonprofit?
HowBigIsYourDream.org is the website, and everything social media is How Big Is Your Dream. JFly Music is everything JFly Music. One JFly on social media and Facebook, and then JFlyMusic.com is the website.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me.